use their families' memories to expose all forms of racism and hate. Callum Watkinson, ITV News.
And that is it for now. I'll be back with your late update at 10:30. Coming up, Mary with the ITV Evening News. But from me and the rest of the London team, have a lovely evening. Bye-bye.
A call for reform in UK maternity services after catastrophic failings that cost the lives of 201 babies and 9 mothers. Today's report into the deaths at Shrewsbury and Telford Hospital NHS Trust found mistakes spanning decades, with mothers even being blamed for the loss of their own infants.
Her life had a purpose, her death had a purpose. I felt that she was a statistic of the failings of the trust, and she is kind of still that, but she's helped to make change.
Among the shocking findings, evidence that avoidable errors are still being made, with staff even being urged not to assist the inquiry. So how did things go so wrong? Also tonight, is the government doing enough for Ukrainian refugees? Evidence that more than half of visa applicants are still waiting for any response. The mother of baby P is cleared to be released from jail now. The Justice Secretary wants a review. Tributes to the Wanted star Tom Parker, who's died at the age of 33 from brain cancer. And the emotional family journey that earned Robert Rinder and his mum MBEs at Windsor.
This is the ITV Evening News with Mary Nightingale.
Good evening. The facts laid bare by the official inquiry into the UK's biggest maternity scandal are so shocking they almost defy belief. Over 20 years, babies stillborn, dying shortly after birth, or left with skull fractures, broken bones, and in a number of cases, severe brain damage. Today's report found Shrewsbury and Telford Hospital NHS Trust had presided over a series of catastrophic failings, and 201 babies and 9 mothers could have survived had it provided better care. The report's author, Donna Ockenden, said the trust had failed to investigate, failed to learn and failed to improve. Ben Chapman has our first report.
They should all have had a future. Jack Byrne, whose mother was denied a caesarean section. Ivy Morris, whose heart rate wasn't monitored properly. Pippa Griffiths, whose parents' concerns weren't listened to. Just a few of the victims of repeated catastrophic failures at this hospital trust.
You learn to get on with everyday life, but it never goes away.
Julie Rowlings fought for years to expose the horrific, fatal injuries suffered by her daughter Olivia during birth. Today, she was vindicated.
Her life had a purpose, her death had a purpose. I felt that she was a statistic of the failings of the trust, and she is kind of still that, but she's helped to make change.
You can give me a hug.
Today, she and other parents heard from the senior midwife reviewing their baby's care, who concluded more than 200 deaths could and should have been prevented.
We now know that this is a trust that failed to investigate, failed to learn and failed to improve.
Her review found that at least 201 babies could have survived with proper care, as well as 9 mothers who also died. A further 94 children suffered preventable brain damage. Among the damning criticisms, deaths were not investigated, families weren't listened to, and external regulators also missed opportunities to improve care.
Rather than moments of joy and happiness, for these families, their experience of maternity care was one of tragedy and distress.
But the issues here are not just historical. The review's chair says she's still concerned about recent cases with the same familiar themes, and that staff were still scared to speak up with their concerns. The Trust's chief executive apologised and insisted things are improving.
a significantly higher number of staff are coming forward and raising concerns.
And yet some are still afraid of coming forward and were told not to talk to this review.
I'm very concerned if staff feel they can't come forward. We've got many routes in place to enable them to do that.
So how do you explain their fears?
I think within the organisation we have got more to go on culture.
But Rhiannon Davis and Richard Stan